Hello and welcome everyone to Legacy Life. This series is titled Opportunity During Crisis. My name is Stacy Burrell and I will be your host for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is brought to you by the Motivational Institute, TMI, where passion and purpose will always find you. My name is Stacy Burrell and I am the founder of TMI. And I want to thank you all for joining me again today. If you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button and as well as the notifications button so that you can get videos as they become available. Today, I just want to get right into it. I gave this presentation or speech to a group earlier this week, and it was really, really powerful. So I wanted to make sure that I could share it with everyone. And what created the content for this was thinking about how many ways we can capitalize and really take advantage of opportunities that are present to us during this crisis, because there are many. So please make sure that you have pen and paper so that you can take notes. Let's get right into it. This crisis has provided us an opportunity to cooperate. And I love this word, cooperate. You could also say allow or allowing. In Psalms, it says that it says, without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. And I started off this presentation with that quote because I feel it's really important that not only do we cooperate, but that we really connect with people who have knowledge that can provide support with us, because we simply cannot succeed on our own. Here in cooperation, this reminds me to go with the flow and really surrender ourselves. In a sense, ask yourself, are there some things that you really need to let go of? And it's really important that we understand that we can't release something unless we let go. And when we do let go, this often leads to enlightenment. In Matthew 6:28, Jesus said, "Consider how the lilies of the field grow. They do not labor or spin." Are you laboring or spinning? Do you find yourself doing that? I know I do oftentimes. And Abraham Hicks really calls this efforting, putting forth this effort or moving upstream. And it's a lot harder when we move upstream or we try too hard to make things happen. And that's our way of understanding that we might not be doing the right things, and that it's easier than what we've made it out to be. Alan Watts says that it's really important that we stay in a constant state of allowing. The next slide here, this crisis has provided us an opportunity to think, to really slow down. And I know many of us, we were fighting like little kids, having a tantrum when the crisis hit because it forced us all to stop for a moment. Remember, thoughts are things. Thoughts are actually physical in our universe. Dr. Masaru Emoto, he did a water experiment with crystal, and what he found, and you can look up this incredible research, but what he found is when he taped negative words on a jar filled with water, and he also taped positive words on the same jar, the positive words, the positive vibes from the words actually began to crystallize the water. And that just shows you the power of not even a verbal word, but just something physical, and how powerful just the words are for themselves. In Romans 12:12, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Dr. Miles Monroe said, "You are who you think you should be. And if you want to be something different, you must think something different." And Abraham Hicks, she has so many quotes that I love. And she said, "You will have what you think about, whether you want it or not." Or we become what we think about, whether we want it or not. This crisis has provided us an opportunity to speak differently, to change our words. It's really important here that we just focus on saying things and speaking things that feel good. Eliminate anything that doesn't feel good. In Proverbs 16:24, it says, "Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul, healthy for the body." Proverbs 18:4 says, "Words can be life-giving water." And I also mentioned that biblically it says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. There's so much power in our words. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book called The Four Agreements. He has other books as well, but I love this book. And if you have an opportunity, please get a copy of it. There's a chapter in this book, and it's called Be Impeccable with Your Word. It's one of the agreements. And what that impeccability means is don't use words against yourself. Every single word that goes out into the universe, that goes out into the world and out into the environment will come back. Positive words return positive. Negative words return negativity. So don't use the words against yourself. And then also, when you're speaking things, try not to force yourself to turn something bad into something good. I love when Abraham Hicks said this. She said, many times we're trying to make something that feels bad feel good. And again, that's working against ourselves. And what we should do is be honest about how we feel about things, but find ways to not use negative words to harm us. So think about the words that you are using during this crisis and ask yourself, am I opening up more opportunities or am I closing doors based on the words that I'm using in my language? This crisis has provided us an opportunity to raise our vibration. Our vibration is energy. And what I mentioned here to the group earlier this week is I miss church. I miss being in the building, hearing my pastor's voice. My pastor is Dr. Robert E. Fowler Sr., who passed on, went to be with the Lord earlier this year, and I miss him. I miss the congregation, the deacons, the ministers, the church members, the children, the praise and worship. I miss all of that because it was all such healing, positive energy. And it's something that I believe we're all missing in a sense, but that we can all create. And we have to ask ourselves, where is our power coming from now? For those of us who are very connected to church and spiritual, you may feel like you've lost some of that power, but ask yourself now, what is your source of power? In Hebrews 11:1, it says that faith is confidence and that it gives us assurance about things that we cannot see. And the reason that I'm pointing this out is because when we are confident, if faith is confidence and we become confident, that's energy, that's power, that's assurance. So it's really important that we hold on to our faith at this time, that we stay anchored in, that we stay connected, that we speak different, and that we think different. Because guess what? Joe Dispenza said this. Sorry. Oh. Joe Dispenza said this. He said, we can't think greater than how we feel. We can't think greater than how we feel. That's so powerful. This crisis has provided us an opportunity to create, to become the creative individuals that we were designed to be. This is an opportunity for us now to not focus so much on problems, but to the solutions to those problems, because every time we have a problem, a solution presents itself. There is an answer. This may be a time now to work on specific skills to build yourself up from a personal standpoint. This could be you want to work on becoming a better mother or father, caregiver, a friend, a husband, a wife, spouse. Or this also could be something professionally that you'd like to do. If you want to start a business, this is the time to do it. Tap in to your creative power and your creative ability. This is the time to create. This crisis has also provided us an opportunity to focus. In Proverbs 4:25, it says, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you." Luke 17:32 says, God warned about the difficult times in the future. He reminded us about what will happen if we lose our focus. So in Luke, this specific scripture was about Lot's wife and how God warned them about the difficult times and told them not to look back. And Lot's wife did. She wavered. And God is reminding us now not to waver, but to keep our eyes on him. When I think about focus, I have so many people that I quote and mentors and people that I look up to. Michael Jordan is one now. I just finished the Netflix special. What's it called? Oh, my mind's going blank. The Last Dance. And it just is incredible. It just was I have such a huge respect for Michael Jordan and just the whole team in that organization. But what he talked about here was that he never, ever lost his faith in winning and becoming a champion and getting those championships. And he never stopped believing. And that was actually what he said to Phil Jackson when they won that sixth championship. And out of everything he said in all 9 series, that was the line that I remember the most. And he said, "I never stopped believing. I never stopped believing." That was incredible. And then also Will Smith talks about focus, and he says that, he's not the most talented. He doesn't feel that he's the most talented actor, even though he definitely is up there. But he doesn't consider himself talented. He considers himself skilled. And he attributes that to his incredible ability to focus. And what he says is he's basically obsessed at times and a bit delusional when it comes to his focus. Once he decides that he's going to do something, he does it and he doesn't get distracted. In fact, he said we shouldn't have a plan B because plan B distracts us from plan A. And I totally agree with this. So this crisis has provided us an opportunity to really keep our eyes where they should be and increase our ability to focus. This crisis has also provided us an opportunity to produce. E.T., Eric Thomas, is one of the top motivational speakers in the world. And I was watching a video that he posted and he asked his audience, are you a consumer or are you a producer? Ask yourself that question. Are you taking things in or are you pouring things out? And he also talked about in production, it's important that we have a routine. He has a video called, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I can't think right now. Oh, success routine, the success routine. And he talks about how routines are so important in helping us all become, increasing our productivity. I agree with this to the point to where when you do have a routine, it becomes automatic. And what's so great about something becoming automatic and planting into your subconscious mind and not taking away any of your thought is now you have that energy And now you have that brain power to focus on the things that need that attention. Everything else is just automatic and you don't really think about it. And that's why it's important to be consistent in your routine. And that's what attributes to that increased production. This crisis has also provided us an opportunity to decide, to make decisions. There's so much power in a decision. Psalms 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way that you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. I shared with the group that I made a very, very scary decision a few years ago to quit my full-time job and start my business and start the Motivational Institute. And it was one of the hardest things that I felt I had to do. And many times we might feel like we have that intuition that's telling us not to do something because you kind of feel the that push and pull inside, and that resistance is what Abraham Hicks would say. You feel that and you think that that's God's way of telling you no. And many times it is quite the opposite. So don't let that fear stop you. And I heard someone say, fear doesn't stop death, fear stops life. So I went ahead and made that decision. And it was one of the best decisions that I made. And I focused on how I felt making the decision instead of how other people would feel about it. There's a really cool photo out on the internet if you Google it, and it's a photo of what appears to be Jesus Christ, okay? And he's standing in front of a young girl, and the little girl is holding a teddy bear, and it appears to be her favorite teddy bear. She's holding it so tight and squeezing it and giving it a big hug, and Jesus is bending down towards her with his hand out, asking her to give it to him. And you can tell that she's probably holding on even tighter, like, no, it's my favorite. I can't give it to you. And then what you see in the photo is behind Jesus, behind his back, in one arm, he's holding a teddy bear that is probably 20 times as big as the one that she has. And I'll never forget looking at that the day that I hit submit on my resignation, because many times we don't even understand what God has for us. It is beyond anything that we can think. It is beyond anything that we can fathom or even believe, but it's important that we let go and let God. This crisis has provided us an opportunity to be grateful. Have an attitude of gratitude. In Thessalonians 5:16, it says, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God. In fact, I truly believe that in order for us to achieve more or have more, we must be that much more grateful for the things that we already have. That is really the secret and the key to advancing, and this key to evolving is really falling in love with who we are, where we are, with what we have. My sister, who I love so dearly, who is a very, very important component when it comes to this aspect of the Motivational Institute and everything that we offer, and helping individuals master life and become the greatest version of themselves. She mentioned to me that she wrote a gratitude list, and it's something that she reads very often. And it's highly suggested that we write out a gratitude list and read it every day. And sometimes we have to dig deep. You may be at a point in your life where you don't feel like you have anything to be grateful for. And I feel you. I've been there. And sometimes we got to dial it down and take it down a notch or two or three, and just be thankful for the fact that we can see, hear, taste, touch, breathe, the fact that we have a roof over our head, food to eat. Those may be the simple things that we're taking for granted. So we can write those out. And then we add to it every single day. Add one more thing to that list. Add one more thing to that list. And continue to place that into your spirit. And you will begin to cultivate this attitude of gratitude. And then finally here, the crisis has provided us an opportunity to believe. I love T.D. Jakes. I listen to him very often. And he spoke to his congregation out of John 11:33. And in this scripture here, Mary and Martha came to Jesus very angry. And they said to him, if you had been here, Jesus, our brother would not have died. In this scripture, they are blaming Jesus for Lazarus' death. Instead of responding to Mary and Martha, Jesus took a moment and he began to cry. And this is where Jesus wept. And then in the scripture, it goes on to have Mary and Martha take Jesus back to where Lazarus' body is. And T.D. Jakes looks out into his audience at this moment and he said, take me back to that place in your life where you stopped believing. Take me back to that place in your life where you lost your faith. And we've all been there. We've all had those moments or will have those moments. And as my grandmother would say, if you haven't, just keep on living. We have been there. It's important that we go back to that place in our life where we stop believing, because belief is all that we have. That's it. Our faith is all that we have. And it's important that we stay anchored in so that we are not swept away during this crisis. So here to conclude the presentation, there was a man, a very, very powerful, monumental, incredible man who believed in something that everyone else didn't. He believed in something that was quote unquote impossible at this time. And at this time, there was actually no glimpse of hope in sight. And as they say, everything was impossible until someone did it. This man is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by content of that character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I surely hope that you all enjoyed the legacy life and what this crisis has provided us an opportunity to do. I truly pray blessings over each and every one of you who tuned in today. You can contact me at runyourrace@live.com. My phone number is here as well, so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns. Let me know how you guys like this video. Please enter any comments down below, and I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Have a beautiful day.